And welcome everybody to the Idea Exchange. I'm your host, Mikey. Just got to get this Binky Boo. She can get really quite needy. Yeah. And we're going to do an idea exchange. If I can just. Oh. Um, yes, with you. And if you have any ideas that you want to share with me, last week we did this on a Friday. And I've got some great ideas. And because of that, we did some tutorial work this week, meaning me, to help people do some skills that they wanted to do. So we're going to be working with you. I can see your comments. So we have the Lady Geek as our first up today. And so my goal really is to have some ideas from you on what you want to see in tutorial format, and maybe some holes that I'm missing other than the holes in my head. But just kind of opportunities to kind of review on the video content, what you're liking, what you're not, and all of that kind of stuff. So I have been switching over a little bit to knitting in the last 2 to 3 weeks, and it's more because I'm in a mental state of mind that I'm just struggling a little bit. Mental. It's because the social media is a little bit rough, and it's because some people cannot filter themselves and they need to make sure their bad day is put onto somebody else. And so I see a lot of stuff that you don't see because our filters pick it up, but then it still comes through here. So yeah, so I'm kind of I'm trying to get my frame of mind. So I decided to pick up knitting to be able to fire off different brain waves in my head to kind of rewire my mind a little bit. It's known to do that by just changing the way that you move and think and all of that jazz. So that's kind of my priorities, right? So yeah, so I'm enjoying the knitting. I finally hit that moment of hate, which is such a strong and ugly word, but I really wasn't liking it. But then I finally finished a project, and once I finished something real, I was really quite excited about it. And because of that, I think I can move on. Before, I had been just doing like stitch swatches, whatever, that serve absolutely no purpose other than learning the stitch. But then I think you're better to learn with the project itself. So um, one of the things that happened to me is when I first started with Red Heart back in 2013, they originally wanted me to build a library, a stitch library. And I'm like, I don't understand that, because if you don't know how to apply a stitch to a pattern, then what's the purpose of learning the stitch, right? So I said, well, I really don't like that idea. I really want to stick with teaching the projects itself. And so they said, that's fine. Just do what you think that you need to do. And it's good. So I think it's important that when we do things, so somebody will ask, have you ever done this stitch? Yeah, I've done this stitch. It's in this project, and they just want to learn the stitch itself. So it becomes dicey of whether people want to learn just the concept or the pattern or both. And I find that's the hardest thing to do. So let's go through some of your comments here. And my mental state, you don't need to worry about it. I will work my way through this drama. And yeah, so one of the things that I'm kind of working through now is that I haven't seen anything yet. It's now the September 30th, and for our Canadian friends, including myself, it's the Children's Awareness Day for the Indigenous. It's not said that way, but Truth and Reconciliation Day here in Canada. So I kind of want to go through, maybe you have some concept for Christmas. I really haven't seen anything that's like, I need to do this for Christmas. I haven't seen any trends yet, which is kind of shocking. September 30th, other than what we tell you that the trends could be, I really haven't seen something that people are gravitating toward. And so I want to kind of look at that. A really easy hit that social media, I'm seeing your comments, but a really easy hit that social media people do is that they say charity, 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 charity. But then people get all riled up about the charity, but then a very small fraction of people actually contribute to charity from that push. So I would rather do a project that maybe has that element to the charity, but it's not the focus, because sometimes people will use the charity as a way to get leveraged for attention, but it is not necessarily it's not a long-term solution, because people that want to do the charity will do it regardless if they're being told to or not. So I think it's important that we choose projects that are just more beyond what we can do for others, but maybe something for ourselves, something for others, but a little bit of combination of everything. So, okay, so let's go back onto your chat here. Um, so we're going through, I saw you post on the YouTube on how tired you look. May I kindly suggest a weekend off or stop reading the comments? It's kind of tough because my phone is so connected to everything. So that's kind of my issue. And if I take that off, then I never had a cell phone until 2014. So I'll tell the backstory. And so my assistant at the time, that is no longer with me, literally received death threats. And because I was only having a desktop, and 2014, you think about how not long ago that was. And she was receiving death threats and trying to get my attention. And anyway, it was hell, absolute hell. So I realized that I have to go buy a cell phone in order to stay connected. So that was kind of one of those things that I kind of, so as much as the phone is helpful, it's actually one of those, it's like a ball and a chain around your neck for being able to get there. So how about a snuggle with sleeves? Actually, we saw a design with that, but it wasn't a yarn sprays in this design with sleeves. So I'll write that down. So I got that. Our gnomes are hot this year. They're really hot. Actually, you know who's doing a really good job with that is Repeat Crafter May Sarah. She is like Nomeo, like way over there on Repeat Crafter Me if you're looking for gnomes. So that's a really good thing to do that. So that is something that you can look for there. So what we have, I've been working on amigurumi, easy clips for kids for backpacks. Don't listen to the negativity. People support you, say Nina. So gnomes. What else we got? I noticed there are a lot of making granny square cardigans. Granny square cardigans are a thing this year, big time. So this morning I ran a YouTube short for like converting granny squares into coats based on going to the Salvation Army or Value Village or whatever shop that is closest to you. People are doing that. Granny square coats and all of that jazz, granny square shirts, square sweaters. It is hot this year for sure. And so that's something that you can do that. And the nice thing about that though, is that I can just teach you the square, show you the diagram, and then you just basically follow the diagram to sew it together, right? So a lot of those crochet cardigans, the granny square is really not that hard, and you can do that. A stocking pattern. So stockings. I'm going to check and see if there's anything new. We already have some stockings. I find with myself is that when I was a kid, my parents gave me a stocking that was god awful, right? But it was one of those stockings that you just never let go of. It becomes your thing. It becomes your personal possession. And I never knew what happened to this thing. And it wasn't pretty and it wasn't nice, but it was mine. And I find with the Christmas stockings, they're so personal. Like, can we get a vote here? How many people actually replace their Christmas stockings year after year? Or is it become something that is so treasured for you? So when I'm thinking Christmas stockings, I'm thinking about the people that don't have one that maybe want to continue it for the years. But there's so many people like me that I have a stocking that is literally mine, and you'll have to pry it out of my cold dead hands before you'll get it. It's one of those ones. So yeah. So I have a hard time joining the squares, says Jamara. So the invisible join is the best way to go for there. And I really thing. So thank you, Emma, and thank you. Who else was that other person? Atelier from the Mary Atelier. Thank you so much for your donation. It's really quite a nice. Shoot, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the invisible join for granny squares. That's a really great join to be able to do that one. So Cindy says she hasn't. So Cindy, what does it take for you to get a stocking that you'll make that will become hand downable? What are you specifically looking for to say that I need to have that there? And that's kind of thing. Mikey, we make mittens. So you can make mittens for sure. Instead of stockings, you can do that. I've never had a stocking and I don't know how to crochet them. We have those. We do have stocking tutorials on here on the channel if you're looking for that. Actually, the latest one that I made was really good. It was using burnout pop but it's such an easy pattern to be able to follow. So Rita says I make her laugh on difficult days. Social media is a blessing and a curse. Just see, yeah, it's a evil necessity. We'll just say it that way. So Rachel says, oh, I know Rachel. Rachel says that she's passed on her stockings, and you make a new one. I miss getting Christmas cards every year. I would think we should start that tradition again. I tell my friends not to send me cards because I realize that it's only up for a few weeks and it's a waste of paper, to my opinion. That's my opinion. So anyway, I tell my friends never to send me cards. It's just, I think it's one of those ones that, I think it's one of those traditions that is kind of phasing out. It's like magazines and all of that jazz, is that it tends to phase out in time. It gets more digital, as much as we don't want to do that, right? Oh dear. Okay. I would like to make a sweater for myself, but I don't know how you measuring sweaters. Myself, I don't really know that answer, but it's not like I can't ask that question. Measuring sweaters. Myself, because I'm the shape of a pear, it might match up here, but then all of this extra fabulosity here may not fit it. That's my fear of clothing, is that I will make something and then I will literally look like a pear. And then you become that role model of what not to wear. Especially those, remember those really, really ugly brown crochet shorts that somebody wears? It's like an old photo. And yeah, so that's kind of fun. My issue is, and let's talk very honestly here, my issue is when I film article clothing for women, because mostly it's always women or female oriented, I always find that I get in shit from people. Like I will choose a size, and in Yarn Inspirations, there's 7 sizes per sweater. So you have extra small all the way to 5 extra large. And I find that people just like to rip into me for not filming the size that they were. And when I think about, I am not making 7 sweaters just to have 7 tutorials that are different when the information is really translatable. So I'm not sure people are just lecturing me because they don't want to do the conversion in their head to look at the pattern and get that. Instead of chaining 80, it's chain 90 or something. So I almost find with myself, and this is maybe a lazy perspective, is that I find that people just they either want the detail or they don't want to substitute, or they're just looking to rip out onto somebody because they're unhappy about something. So it's frustrating. I started this kind of clothing back in 2010, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, instead of chaining this, you chain that. Like, I even said it in the tutorial. I even pointed in the pattern, and it's still not good enough. So I have a hard time with the clothing because of that, because I don't want to cause people to intentionally create a negative comment, right? And so that's kind of thing. Oh. So I don't know. Who needs it? It's a waste. Like, I thought, honestly, I would spend like weeks making sweaters that I'm never going to use. Yeah. So I don't know. So that's one of the things. But there is a new cardigan that Yarn Inspiration has just released. Oh my God. It is so good. And they're suggesting I do a stitch along with it. This thing, if you know how to wet your whistle, this thing wets whistles. It also wets a lot of other things. It is so good. I'm almost tempted. Okay. Almost tempted. Do you want to see it? Let me see if I can find it. This sweater is like a stitch sampler. Oh, sorry, this cardigan is like a stitch sampler, wet dream waiting to happen. It is so good. Oh, no, I can't find it. Let me just see if I can bang it into the search engine and find it for you. This thing is, oh my God. So I haven't seen anybody crochet it yet. And and somebody's going to look at it and say, oh, whatever, you watch. Cardigan. I'll see if it's blue. I know it's blue. They showed me to me one day. Anyway, this thing was just, what was it using? It was for women. Oh my God, the stitch, the texture was just a two tissue texture. It was that good. It was so good. Oh my goodness. Where is this? What was the yarn it was made out of? Oh, I don't even remember that. Oh. Let me see if I can sort by patterns, crochet. Let me just see if I can find this. So just hold off any ideas for a sec. Let me find this thing. It was so good. So good. It was blue. Oh. It was blue. Let me just see if I can get it. They have stuff organized by when I find it, you're gonna say it looks like crap. Oh God. This sounds like talks amongst yourselves. Yeah, it totally is. It is so good. So good. I was just like blown away by it. Oh my goodness. Okay, Halloween lined up. Ruffles and fluffs and snugs. Maybe that's, let me just see if I can find that. Oh my goodness, now that I open my big mouth, it was so good. So good. Oh, I forget the yarn it was made out of too. I'm just gonna put in sampler, see what happens. No. So I'll have to find that. It is so good. I'm pretty tempted on it for a cardigan, but again, if I do it, then people are gonna have to substitute the sizes. I don't want to give up on this thing. I'm almost like that Brokeback Mountain. I just can't. I can't give up on you or something. Or I don't remember the name. Oh, Lord. Okay, so I'll have to look for that. Where did you see it? It was on your inspirations. It was blue. It was a cardigan. It was a woman's cardigan. I'll just put a woman's cardigan. Or maybe I'll just put in cardi. No, that doesn't show up anything. Oh, it was so good. Texture. I was like, wow, when I saw it. Just wow. Oh, I can't seem to find it. It's blue. Oh my goodness. Just hold off on the ideas until just, our patterns. I forget what yarn it was made out of. I almost want to say it was Karen 1 pound. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'll have to look for that. But now it's going to bother me now that I got to find that. But I will ask Yarn Inspirations because they showed that to me. Maybe it's a secret. Oh, Wendy, our Wendy has just come through. Okay, so let me just open my messaging from Wendy. She's our assistant here. She just found it. She is like this guru of knowledge. No, that's not it. That's not it. It has like all these textures that are changing. It's almost like a blanket as a stitch sampler, but it's something like that. Yeah. It's not the curve, the patchwork drew cardigan, rainbow, the red heart textured pullover. It's a cardigan. Yeah. That's the issue I have with yarn inspirations. Sometimes it's kind of hard. Yes, it totally is hard because they have 8,000 patterns. It's hard to narrow it down. Look into your history. Textured stripes. Oh. You know what? Just stand by for a second. Let me just pull out my bat phone here really, really close. What was the name of that blue textured cardie? That you showed me on Wacom. See if she answers me. So yeah, I'm entering that. No, it's not the Havazard. It's not that. I'll see if she responds. So anyway, that's kind of a thing. So that might be a fun pattern to do. What else do we got going on? So the kitty wants to say hello. Yeah, there was a cat around here. I barely saw it. It was like a texture. It was blue. I'm just going to enter the word blue. Was it on Michael's or Joanne? Wendy, it was on Yarn Inspirations. Textured sweater. Oh my God, I hate this. I hate when texture. Welcome to a day in my life. Textured checks. It's not a checks. No, it's a solid color. It's blue. Wendy says she hates this too. We're trying to find patterns that we can't find the names for. It is so good. It's a 2 Kleenex. It's that good. So good. Just and now Wendy's like, she says, I have to find these things now. Damn it. Oh God. But it's not textured checks. I don't think it's, let me just put in textured checks. Because maybe you're right. Maybe it is textured. No, it's not textured checks. Oh, it was so good. It was like a sample. It was, I'm just throwing words out now. Ladies, cardigan maybe instead of women. There's methods that want to learn first wearables. You're the best. I would like to learn a hooded piece one day, baby vest. Are we sure it was crocheted? It was definitely crocheted there, Wendy. It was blue. How many times do I gotta say that? It was blue. Okay, what was the stitch in it? Maybe there was a basket weave. Maybe I'll put in basket weave. Why can't I remember? Oh, let me just check my other system. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry about this. What kind of blue? A fabulous blue. It was like a powdered blue. It was just like, oh, I'm checking my database here. Oh, and watch when I see it. I'm not going to like it the second time. And it's not going to be worth 2 tissues. Oh my goodness. Why didn't I mark this? I thought I marked this. Oh, my life is over. Oh. Daddy found it. It's not even blue. Okay, hang on. Oh, it's good. I'm gonna put the link in the video for you. The link. Tell me what you think of this one. This one wets every possible whistle that I have. Oh, it's so good. Oh. What kind of yarn is it? Super Saver. Okay, here you go. Here we go. Ready? If you don't like it, tough. But I think this one is, oh, it's not copying over. Okay, get your tissues ready, girls and boys. Not responsible for soiled chairs. Here we go. Tell me what you think of that. Let me just see. Let me just download the pattern. This is apparently an old pattern. It's called the Ran Toggle Wrap. It's green. It's an older pattern. There's no crochet diagrams, which is kind of why they were looking at it. But look at the texture on that. Okay, not the cup of tea for Peggy. Okay, by this, push the hearts. What do you think of this pattern? What do you think of that? It is only available in one size. I almost think the model's a little too skinny for this sample, which is fine because I'm not that size. So 2 tissues. So give me some hearts. Push that heart button. What do you think? I can't see it. Let me just push that link again for you. Look at the bobbles on that. Look at the detail going down the lapel. There is some almost like leaf work or something going on in there. And so it says the shot is worked from side to side. I almost think I should do this one, but it looks amazing. It doesn't look too complicated if you take it step by step. Yeah, this is crocheted for sure. I'm not, oh hell no, I'm not knitting any sweaters anytime soon. Let me just push that link again for anybody that wants to see it. What do you think? Oh, okay. So Wendy says, it would look better in blue. Oh God. I would call that a wrap, not a cardi. Well, Wendy, you can call it anything you want. I don't care. Yeah, so what do you think? You know what I'm thinking? I'm almost thinking like transitional yarn. Have some fun with that. Burn out with the ombre. This is an old design. So what do you think about transitional colors? Yeah. It's so pathetic. I have no life when I get so excited about free patterns. Yeah. So it's all done as a one piece, apparently. So it's side to side. Let me just take a look. It says the left front, right front, to shape the back neck. I think I could do something like this if I just broke it down into steps. And yeah, let me just think. I like that. Yeah, it keeps me mentally interested with the different stitches for sure. Kathy Jones is like, yes. No, it's more like, yes. Yeah. I had a cruiser on the last crochet cruise when she liked something. Yes, Mikey. Wendy says the aces would work at home, toss it, professional PJs. So she would finally get dressed if she was wearing that. No, maybe that's not what she said. The solid does show up the texture beautifully because it's the light that does that. So I think it just needs. Oh, so somebody see Robin. This is the problem. It needs pockets. This is the problem. So somebody will say it will need this. It'll need this. It'll need a hood. It'll need pom poms. It needs a tie. Call it as you will. Just do it. Pink, yes. Ombre, please do it. What is the transition? What is like Red Heart Super Saver? Sorry, Red Heart ombre yarn. Super Saver ombre could be a good one. You would have Karen Jumbo would be a good one for that too. How about a pocket scarf with the stitches? Are pocket scarves still even a thing? I haven't really seen people doing pocket scarves. Remember, it was all about the pocket scarves. Was that last year or the year before? Yeah. So Arlene just emptied her whole, whole tissue box. She just saved herself time and sat on the box. Oh my goodness. So that. So hopefully you have a good sense of humor. You shouldn't be on this channel if you're not. So there we go. It would be kind of fun. So I don't know. Let me. This is actually saved in my back end of my system. So I can. Oh my god. What do I do? This is a good one. Why do I even show you these things? Yeah. I want to do a temperature blanket. Okay, we have those available on our website if you want that. So let me just post that link again for those that are just joining us. We've all just had wet chair moments. Well, not all of us, but most of us did. This link is for what we go. This link is what we're talking about. For a that's possibly a stitch along. I'm thinking. What am I thinking? I'm thinking, oh, this too close to Christmas to make this. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Just finished a temperature blanket. I would love to know what you make out of the scraps of yarn blankets. You could do scraps of yarn so blankets for sure if you wanted to do that. January stitch along. We have Jeannie stitch along starting on Boxing Day, so that's going to be 4 weeks there. So that'll take us to the 3rd week of January. Then the Joanne stitch along is usually in March, assuming that they want me. I don't know that yet. But then I'm on the Australian crochet cruise in February for 3 weeks, or for 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks gone. Oh, when do we do it? My problem is if I start a project and I do it in sections, I got to commit to it. It's like a noose around my neck. Oh, what do we got? What do we got? Maybe a New Year's. We have a Jeannie stitch along starting, then Valentine's. See, my problem is I'm away in Australia and New Zealand for 2 to 3 weeks. When am I gone? We're doing the crochet event on board Celebrity Eclipse. When am I gone? Let me just check my calendar. Okay, I'm gone from the 16th of February all the way until March 1st. March 2nd. And then there's a time zone change because I'm pretty much on the opposite side of the world. So if I do February, I'm not going to be available for a 2-week period there. And then Joanne is usually starting in March. But the problem is that the Joanne stitch along needs to be produced in January, February to match for March. So I have to leave enough time for that. And it's usually a blanket. So, oh my goodness. What am I? A fall stitch along with hot chocolate. We have a fall stitch along with hot chocolate. Yes, that's going to be around the beginning of November. I haven't started filming that yet. They're still in process. But the hot chocolate, snowflakes and hot chocolate, I think that's my stitch along for, I think around November 1st. It's a winter-based, almost Christmassy kind of square Afghan that turns into this big, really good stitch opportunity. Oh, I'm wasting Kleenex now. Yeah. So yeah, I'll hold on to this one. Christmas Eve cast on. We have a Boxing Day stitch along with Jeannie. Jeannie has a gorgeous 3-dimensional design that she's done already. She did that in January. What did we call that one? Inspiration of Joy or something like that. Is that what it's called? Tell us about the Joanne Stitch Along. The Joanne Stitch Along for I don't know what it is. They contact me around January to do that and then say, will you be interested in stuff? But we have our Joanne Stitch Along, which is more of a stitch project along, starting next week. I'm on week number 3 of October of doing just really quick, easy, giftable projects. So that's going to be starting really soon as of next week. So we have that coming on. How do I get to see the cardigan? Just 1 second. Let me post you a link again. Oh, this might be one of those projects I just drop everything and just friggin' do it. Oh, I hate myself. On a wear, see this one. This is not a wearable sweater, but it's a wearable wrappy thingy mabob. God, I could see the crocheters just totally kicking ass on this thing. Oh, what do I do? Yeah, a New Year's Eve project. This thing, I have a stitch along Boxing Day, unless I run 2 stitch alongs at the same time, which is really complex to do in my head. Do you have online classes? No, we don't. We videotape everything. We have like 3,000 plus tutorials available on YouTube. So I pre-record so that I don't get distracted with questions and stuff like that. So we just keep teaching with that. So yeah. Oh, what do I do? Do you have patterns for tissue box covers? I certainly do. They're on our website if you want that. They're actually all themed up. They're not sitting here yet because it's not Christmassy yet, but I have a reindeer, Santa, elf, and gnome if you want something like that. And basically, the tissue box doesn't sit like this. It sits like this, and then there's a whole face and all the characters and stuff. But you can find tissue box covers pretty much anywhere like that. Please make a diagram. Okay, if you want a diagram, then that's going to really wrench everything if you want a diagram on that, because they didn't provide that. And it takes me days to make a diagram to do that. Oh, now I got to do a diagram. Oh, no. How about I just film it and say no diagram? If I add a diagram, I'm adding like a week's worth of work to myself. Oh. Can we make it a Halloween stitch? A Halloween. Oh, Dina, or is it Dinah? Oh my God, you want a Halloween stitch along? I just showed you the idea. What is the date? September 30th. Oh my God. Actually, I have, oh my God, Halloween stitch along. Because I have the Christmas winter stitch along November 1st, around that time frame. Oh, what do I do? I love the diagrams too. I know. I like diagrams too. Oh, now I'm thinking I got to do diagrams. Oh. Diagram only for now. Well, see, my problem is I'm so friggin' visual that a diagram would be good. Oh, I think I'm just going to have a mental breakdown. Oh, a diagram would be perfect. God. Why did I agree to do an idea exchange? Oh my God. What do I do? Just stitch it up with the timestamps. A diagram to follow. Excuse me. So oh God, Cindy, you just made me laugh. Oh God, that is a tissue ring right there. I think we need a wrap of the photo laid out, not on a model so people can see it. This is an old pattern. I bet the sample is no longer around. Yeah. Oh God, you're so funny. Oh God. I have never seen you complain before. Oh, trust me, behind the scenes. Yeah. I'm a big whiny baby. Just ask Wendy. So is she though. Let me just have a cup of tea here. Just add a few more hours to my day. Why don't I just go F myself while I'm at it? Oh God, you girls are making me laugh. It's kind of funny. How do you like knitting so far? Well, after this conversation, I think I'm gonna have to like sing Kumbaya and get my knitting sticks and really finish myself off. Oh God, so funny. Oh God, yeah. So Becky said, the diagrams are great. So I miss this. I miss this. I miss the stitch along. So, and I so miss the stitch alongs. Well, the last stitch along was in summer, right? We always have a summer one, which I have next year's summer. Do you want to see next year's summer? I'll show it to you. I'm not done. I got to frog a whole section out because I'm not happy with it, but I'll show you next summer's. Don't tell anybody. The yarn's not decided, but anyway, I gotta frog a whole section out of here because it's not sitting flat. But yeah, get your Kleenex out. So this is next summer's as it rests on my big belly. So we have a nice floral center, and then look at those cross stitches. And then it goes over to a stitch that I invented. But I really don't like this. The ending doesn't sit flat. Yeah, so that's next summer. So I have to frog out this whole last section. So that's kind of what we have to do. So I like to design with Karen cotton cakes. And so this is not the yarn it's supposed to be. Yeah, so it's kind of a wonderful day. Yep. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of fun. So next summer, I want it now. Of course to do. I have it all diagrammed out too. So you can have that diagram, but you can't have the other one that I got to make. You should switch. It's so much. Okay, so my mom taught me to do English knitting, and I'm more comfortable with that. I've tried doing the continental, and I know it's faster, but I'm gonna stick with my method that my mommy taught me because I feel more comfortable with that way. So I think once you find your own groove, I think it's okay. So it's a great suggestion. I know it is, but yeah. So I'm just gonna sit here and mentally beat myself up on how slow it takes me. So I did a whole headband yesterday. My first knit headband. I was getting distracted with work, but it has the contour edging like that. And it looks very pedestrian, I know. But the whole goal with this was just to keep moving those sticks and getting better and better at the stitch work. So it's going to take me a bit. So, and I'm okay with that. Yeah. So, okay, question. You mentioned the yarn has a grain to it. Is it from the middle or from the outs? You mentioned a yarn has a grain to it. Is it from the middle or from the outside of the ball? A grain. I'm not sure what that means. So let's let me get the link for the cardigan up again here. There we go. So what do we got? How many hours do you do? I don't crochet as often as you think I do. My job pretty much is so cyber related. It's computer programming. I was computer programming today. I was also doing filming today. I was doing editing today, writing blogs today. So a lot of my job is more cyber based. So people like, I want to be you. I want to do your job on YouTube. And they don't realize that there is primarily so much more work on the computer side. And how I learned it all, Google. And so people will message me, well, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. Google. So whenever there's a question I have, well, can we do this? Google. And so a lot of people want to bypass those steps and get right to the action, but it's those steps that you learn along the way that helps you become a better person, as far as doing what we do. And currently, YouTube is serving 1.4 million views every 30 days. So we're a little higher than normal compared to last year. So there's a lot more interest in crochet this year, from what it appears. So there's a lot of stuff going on. So my goal pretty much is to kind of keep rolling the videos. I'm at the point in the crochet side to kind of just lay off the beginner stuff. However, a mentor of mine has told me to go back to the beginner stuff again, to hit it again with new content. And this is coming from a non-crochet knit mentor. So I'm not sure it's the right advice, but it gets new people to be in on the action to be able to go forward. So I find that it's already there. So why redo the work? But I don't know. Yeah. So the frog stands for rip it, like ribbit, ribbit. So instead of when you frog out your crochet, you're ripping it out. You're pulling out your stitches, rip it, rip it. That's what the frog is. People ask me and I say, did you Google it? And I'm like, So people message me and they said the hat doesn't fit, the scarves, your patterns suck. And I said, well, what was your gauge? Crickets. And you'll never hear from them again. So, and you realize that they're blaming you for skipping a vital step, especially if it's a wearable. You want to make sure that you do gauge. And what I do behind the scenes here, which I'm not going to show you because I'm special, is that I keep a sheet in my database. So whenever I touch a certain yarn and I run a gauge, I know what my yarn is because my gauge isn't changing with my hands. And so I can look up if I use Red Heart Super Saver and I want to use a 6mm hook, I can see what my gauge was. And so sometimes I can just go and look at the pattern and look at the gauge there. And I look at the yarn that I want to choose and I see if my gauge is going to be the same. And if it's not, then it will show me the other hook size that I used and what the gauges were with that. So it's a really handy index, and I know that it's so overkill, but for me, it saves me having to make these stupid little swatches over and over and over and over and over. So it's a great idea to have a little binder for yourself for crochet to make when you do a gauge swatch that you know what it is. The only time your gauge really changes is if your partner decides to do something without talking to you first, and then you get all pissy and you start crocheting, or it's a horror movie like Squid Games, or it's, you're having a mental day and your hands are a little off from what your normal is. So that's the only time that you can do that, right? So that's kind of fun. Another now Inspirations has Yarn Inspirations for those that are Canadian, because Joanne had Karen Colorama Halo, which was exclusive. It's now available on yarninspirations.com. For anybody that's in Canada that wants to order it online, you can do so at yarninspirations.com. So that's something that came available this week. That's something I do know. I order yarn. I live in a village here in Nova Scotia, but just to the one side of me, just a few steps that way, is like a little town, and then there's a bigger town the other way, just a few steps. So I'm right in between. So I order online a lot. I don't even question shipping because it's just the fact of life. It's either that or I drive my car all the way to the city and back, which will take 2 hours. And then I realize it's still cheaper to get shipping than it is to pay for the fuel. Yeah. So that's kind of fun. So hopefully you're not getting intermittent sounds. Anger Crochet gets my blankets out really quick. Yeah. Is there snow days and hot chocolate? Snow days. Yeah, that is going to come out approximately the beginning of November. My tech editor is Svetlana. She's in Ontario. And so her and I work together. So I do the design and then she double checks and helps make the diagrams through another graphics person, and all of that has to come. I have not seen the final copy yet, so as soon as I get the final copy, and I also have to start filming Jeannie's Christmas, Boxing Day stitch along that will be starting in Boxing Day. So for those that are not American, or for those that are American, Boxing Day is December 26th. It's a technical national holiday here in Canada. So we have Christmas Day and then we have Boxing Day. They're right side by side. So we get 2 days legally off paid here in Canada for that. So the sampler and the frame, that is actually the Flora Afghan if you're looking for that, and you can find that information on our website. So that's the blanket that I designed, but it's just a miniature in really thin yarn, and then I had it framed. The framing cost at Michael's was quite expensive, but it's worth it. It's my artwork, and I really love the Afghan and the colors, and it was just all random, so it was kind of fun. So yeah, so Inherited Stitches, love shopping at Zellers. Zellers was the best. When Walmart knocked out Zellers, I was like heartbroken because, you know, Zellers was a Canadian retail chain until Walmart came. You know, Walmart likes to do its magic and clean out the towns. So that's kind of thing. So that's kind of what we have. It's also a holiday, Boxing Day in well, actually, maybe Boxing Day is a British holiday, Darlene, because that's maybe a Commonwealth holiday when I think about it, right? So that's kind of thing. So Michelle says the sound has stopped. Okay, so yeah, so apparently Zellers is coming back, but just kind of like almost like a pop-up shop kind of idea, which is kind of fun. So in the UK, sometimes it cannot get the yarn, so it's really helpful when you say the hook sizes so I can substitute. Yes, I try to do that, and also new videos in the last 2 to 3 years. In the video description, I also put the hook size there and more information. So as the years have been going on, I keep adding more as far as the designer names, the gauge, of all the common questions that people keep messaging me over. They're all in the pattern anyway, and there's a link always in the video description, but people seem to bypass that and go right to comments. So I'm trying to load that information up as much as I can, even though you can see it on the pattern. Yeah. So do I, yeah, sometimes shopping online is hard because your screen could be a different tinge than the real tinge that it is. So that's, yeah. So apparently Zellers is coming back. Has anyone heard that? Yes, I've heard that too. I was really quite excited about it. Yeah. Yep. Can you do a video with tips on yarn to use for patterns, solid versus self-striping? Oh, geez. You know, one of the things I'll be honest with you with that is that when I decided to flip out of the closet in my late 20s, I thought that I would be a designer and drink wine and a fancy gay guy. And it turns out that I was never able to put colors together. I'm still a beer drinker, and you know, other than my boyfriend's gay and I'm not. I don't have that ability to look at a pattern to say, oh yeah, it should be this color. So it turns out that gay gods, when they flipped me out of the closet, they never awarded me those superpowers, and I'm really quite pissed off about it. So anyway, so Daniel has that gift, but I'm not that gifted to be able to look at that. So people will message me and they say they want a recommendation for colors. I'm like, oh, good luck, Chuck. So yeah, so that's thing. So Zellers is like a Walmart, but much better. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of fun. So it was a great store. It was very heavy on the yarn. It was fabulous. That's where I used to buy my yarn. Yeah. Oh God. So that's kind of thing. Mood boards are great, you know, and one of the yarn inspirations came out years ago with the whole mood scarf, and it was like happy and joy and, you know, all those. And I said, well, what about raging bitch? What color would that be? And how about, your neighbor just ran over your dog, anger. Like, so it's kind of funny. We all think about these mood swings and like these really light tones of like happy and joy and cheerful and laughable and lovable. And what about the real moods? Right. So I would have to do the real moods if I was to do that. Like, somebody just emailed me that it's my problem that yarn is sold out in their local store kind of mood. Yeah, yeah. So I think if I was to do a mood scarf or a mood blanket, it has to be real moods. Like, yeah, like you just found out your husband's been cheating on somebody and it's your best friend and your best friend hasn't told you nothing. That kind of color. And we kind of laugh about it, but when you're in that moment, there's nothing funny about it, and it's heartbreaking. I've been there, done that, and honestly, I saw black. Yeah, black. Oh yeah, Melissa beat me to it. She sees black too. So it's kind of one of those things that, I think sometimes in crochet we try to be too polite. And yeah, so that's kind of thing. Blood red. Just skip the white and go right for the red or the black. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so Jilly M was talking about the WTF moment color. Yeah, so that's kind of fun. How many months in advance do you typically work? I'm thinking about setting Easter designs. Yes, you should be thinking about Easter designs right now. Yeah, it should be you think about that. Yarn Inspirations, when they release your patterns, it was done last year. So everything you're seeing that's just popping is already done last year. So they work a year in advance. Yeah, yeah. So, inherited stitches, when she's supremely angry, not just angry, but supremely angry, she sees nothing but white. That's the white in her eyes of fear. Yeah, 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 that's kind of thing. Yeah, so that's it. My unicorn mart has way less yarn than I'm used to. So in Canada, crochet and knitting is a thing. It's a big thing. And you got to think about Canada. We don't have a huge population like the US, so we don't have as many retail stores. So we have like Walmart, we have Michael's in select locations. So in Canada, our yarn selections are huge in comparison to some places in the US. And really, your yarn selection in the stores that are closest to you are reflective of how many people in your region are actually doing that craft. So if all of a sudden you end up seeing this whole bunch of baking stuff just come out of nowhere, you realize that probably people in your area are baking. And so it's very geared like that. So people say, well, the yarn selection is going down and down and down, and chances are in their area, there's probably less and less people actually doing the yarn arts. But then when people decide to do it, there's not as much selection. So it's a double-edged sword, I guess you can say, right? Yeah. So that's kind of one of those things. What do we got? Flip a coin and see what the colors of the pattern. So anyway, so I never really, somebody says that the M sucks. You know what? I never really say that because it's just like, it would suck even worse if it wasn't there. So it's one of those double-edged swords again, like we talked about. It's like people will complain if there is no choice, but then like if the choices are kind of terrible, but then people really complain if there is no choice, period. And so some people, like when I see on my social media, they're complaining about this and that. I'm like, try living here in Canada, where some of the yarn is not even allowed to ship across the border. So, it's all relative to your situation. And, but I think some people realize they have more choice than they realize. Yeah. Yeah. Black with scissor slashing red, says Arlene. So she's back on the mood swings. Maybe that's what it should be, mood swing scarf. But then you got to figure out, when do you regulate your mood? So sometimes my mood around 7 in the morning when I'm opening my email is like probably scissor black red. Yeah. Yarn groping, what a concept. I don't think that'll work too well. How about yarn choking? Yeah. Suggestions for a left-hander to crochet. We actually have tutorials available for that. I have been in a place where this mother was trying to teach, insisted that her left-hand daughter needs to learn how to crochet right-handed when the daughter's left-handed. Anyway, she rode that kid's butt so much. And I'm like, can you just go shopping and just leave me with your kid? And so anyway, I put tutorials for left hand and I said, this is how you're going to see it from your perspective. And honestly, the kid was crocheting by the time the mother came back and she was stunned. And I'm like, I don't know why you're trying to teach your kid how to crochet with their non-dominant hand, because we don't ask you to sign anything with your non-dominant hand. So I think with the left-handed, get the videos that are left-handed and just watch with them, because if they can see it from their own perspective, it's a lot easier. So that would be my suggestion for that. Hopefully that's a good suggestion. So we have a left hand. So anything that we have in right-handed is available in left hand if it exists. So for example, say that I have a beginner blanket, and if you enter the same information in the search engine but put the word left hand in front of it, if there is a left hand, it'll show up, and you'll find that on our channel as well. So, and then in the last about 3 or 4 years, I've been putting the left hand version as a link in the video description as well. So yeah. So yeah, so you're still on this whole mood swing. I almost think that's a thing too. You could think about like the Christmas scarf and the Grinch. How green are you going to get? Yeah, I don't know. There's people that say to me, I'm not feeling very Christmassy this year. I don't think I'm going to decorate. Then don't. I'm like, really? You don't think I should? I'm like, you're not feeling it. Why are you going to force yourself? So that's kind of fun. So it's, oh, you mean groping the yarn? I thought it was something else. I'm very simple-minded, if you haven't noticed. That's kind of where we go for that. So we got some ideas. I think that toggle wrap might be the tissue one. I almost should make a joke on that on YouTube when I put that out, the 2 tissue red heart around toggle wrap. And only people in this chat will understand what I think. Are you going to do a, so I did a knit crowd already. The channel was already out. Here's my thing, Michelle. On YouTube, as much as it's free for you, it's not for me. And as much as it's free for me to upload, everything else inside the channels has extras. And for example, the music is like $400 a month that I pay for to have that music. And so if I have 2 channels, I then have to pay another $400 for the next channel. So then that will raise my cost to $800. You know what I'm saying? So I'm putting everything in one channel so that I don't have to buy different licenses. And then I don't have to toggle around to the different channels, log out of one, log into the other just to answer people's questions. So people think, oh, this guy's making a lot of money or whatever. It's nothing like that. Like the amount of money that it costs to run a free program is crazy. And how can you help? Just keep watching the tutorials. Just use it for what it is. But I'm not interested in creating a second channel. So people want a left-handed channel so they don't see the left videos. People want a knitting channel so they don't see the knitting channels. But what they want is an extra expense to me in order to provide that, and I'm not wanting that. Yeah. So just watch the tutorials. Enjoy. You know, there's a lot of stuff that gets paid behind the scenes that people just don't realize what gets paid. It's like thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. So it's one of those things, right? So I put in the knit videos there because I'm just trying to save money. And that's just the way it is. So I don't want to put a donation thing on my YouTube channel. I don't want that. Our sponsorship is good. I have found a way to make money to keep a staff and to run all this, and I don't need your money. I don't need you to send me money. That's just my thing. I don't charge for the patterns because I don't need you to do that. And so I have made this whole model work. And so Wendy LCM is my assistant here, and Wendy's exactly right. When you ask people to pay for something and the pattern doesn't work or there's an error, they demand their money back. Raffles, you can't run a raffle. PayPal and everything forbids raffles, anything like that. And that's kind of the way that it is. So so there are ways to make money if I really had to charge for the patterns or charge a membership. On YouTube, there's a membership option where I can ask you to membership to see some videos. I don't want to do that. I don't need to do that. And so they're already demanding when it's free. Absolutely. But I can honestly say if there's an issue and the pattern is free, the pattern is free. I'm sorry for that. But when it comes to an actual refund that needs to be done, it gets really complicated. And so that's just not something that interests me. I don't want to ever get to that moment. But our Yarnspirations treats us really well. Like to have access to 8,000 free patterns and to be able to film everything under the sun that they do and be able to self-design and run this community, I think it's just great. And it's just what brings me the joy, right? So Peace Frog says your sexuality does not dictate your talents. No, that's true. That's true. So I have to think about that toggle route a lot. Huh. What are we going to do? So, and that's the thing. Lori W said, had no idea. There is so much expense in running a free company. It's crazy. You have no idea. No idea. And so when people get really demanding and stuff, I'm like, you know what? There is so much that we're doing for free that you don't have to directly pay for. That we're doing the best we can. Then people say, well, you need more staff. No, I do not need more staff. The fact is, the more people that you work with, the harder it gets for me. So I have a really good team that's really close knit, and that's good. And the testers are picked. We don't need any testers, but the testers are picked through just observation. So, for example, the latest tester that I brought on board, she was. Thank you, Michelle. She was brought on board because I noticed that she was kind of correcting some of my stuff, but doing it in a very appropriate way, like just saying, hey, I saw something, maybe you suggest this. And I noticed that she was really quite nice about it. And so I decided just to kind of watch her. And so she was on my radar. And so I just kind of finally asked her, and it was like maybe 6 months into this thing, and I kind of watched her and I said, do you want to be a tester? Because she was picking up on such small detail that was important. And so so that's kind of that was kind of my goal, right, is to kind of do that. So anyway, the team really, the testing team works well together. Our direct team works well together. Our Yarnspirations team that I also have. So I have like 3 teams in motion at any time. And I think there's about 34 people in the team that help run this community. But myself is anything on YouTube that you see a comment coming from YouTube, anything, the Crochet Crowd, that's from me direct. So I'm the only one on YouTube of the team that communicates with you and does all of that. So I film, I edit, I push out, and I love it. It's my favorite part of the job. Some other parts are not so much my favorite, but that's what it is, right? So yeah, so that's kind of thing. Okay, I want to start making videos, but have no followers to see them. What is the best way to get a following? Just keep making the videos. Honestly, it's how I did it. Just keep making one video after another. And honestly, it took me about 5 years before I literally got a stable ground to stand on. So it's a long-term thing. Some people say, well, how long did it take you to get to 1 million followers? It was 14 years. It was a very, very long, hard road. And the thing about the marketing with YouTube is like, well, you can make money, you can do this, you can do that, you can do that, but you got to look pretty to get. In order to get fast on YouTube for growth, you got to look pretty and you got to look good and you got to be a catchy personality and you got to do all of that jazz. And then for the rest of us, like me, it's a very slow incline. And the slow incline is the better incline because once the looks are gone, your channel's gone if people are choosing you for that reason. So it's a very, very long road to go. But I will tell you, here's my advice. If you're going to do it, you need to get off your ass and do it. It's one of those things that the more time you think about it, the more people start. And so it's a time thing. So we started in 2008. Like, so we've been pretty much early. And so everybody think, well, you're huge now. Well, it hasn't always been that way. And so we saw a lot of rapid growth in 2013 until 2016, and then it kind of leveled off. So you just rely on people just to share your work and just to, hey, I did this. And I'd recommend that if you are going to do the channel, that you design. So not only are you doing that, and you learn how to blog. So you got to become a blogger, which is including into programming. Then you need to have a Facebook in order to help run the community. And then you need your YouTube channel to back up your blog, which backs up your Facebook. So you have to run that as a tandem. But right now with TikTok coming on, Instagram videos, Reels, and everything, it's all making a complete change right now. So we're completely in the middle of a transition of technology right now with the phones. So when I started, there was hardly anybody on a cell phone that watched videos. Right now, YouTube is at 73%. It's huge. So there is a huge technology change going on right now. So if you're going to do that, you gotta keep going. And if you're going to quit, and you say that I'm not doing it, and then you start again in a month later, you might as well just quit. You got to quit. Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of thing. So right now you think I have like 1 million some odd followers. There's only 270 people here. So that's my point, is that you need to keep moving. And for me, it's not about the volume of people that are watching this live right now, because that's not what it is for me. For me, it's just a matter of engaging ideas, because these 274 people right now represent the people that are more interested in the tutorial work. That your ideas are very important to me, because there's going to be like tens of thousands of people that are going to be thinking along the same along the same lines. And so what happens is, if you give me an idea, chances are there's tens of other thousands of people that are thinking the same thing. So you got to be thinking about the opportunities that you have. And if you're a person that you start something and then you quit, don't even bother. You're going to waste your time. And don't, whatever you do, waste your money buying all studio sets, lighting, and all of that until you think that you know you're going to do something. And so most of us, including me, I'm almost using natural lighting these days. I've almost retired my filming studio, and I'm just filming in front of a window with natural lighting, because it looks better on the camera. So there's a lot of things that you can waste your money on, and there's a lot of people that will promise you that that will help you to get where you need to go. But the truth is that you need to move your ass and do it yourself. And there's always a way, because Google. And so that's one of those things that people are like, well, I don't know how to do this. Well, have you run it through Google? Well, no. Well, then maybe you have no business doing what we do. And yeah. And so, so Wendy's got great advice. Look at the videos that catch attention. So you have to think that only a handful of my videos, in retrospect of the 3,000, are the really popular ones. And then the rest of the other hundreds and hundreds are just fillers. They're just there, just feeding a few views a day, nothing big. And so if your goal is to hit viral, then you don't want to do this business, because it's very, very difficult in a niche business like that. So that is my suggestion to you. So what are you going to do after this broadcast? You're going to do something. You're going to film something. Always keep them on their toes. Yeah. Yeah. So that's all I got for today. So I got to think about that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to print the darn thing, because if I print it and it's in my face, I'm going to not forget about it, and decide if I'm going to do anything with that, and see how hard it is. I think I got to break down the steps, not do a diagram. Hear that? That's the sound of a future thing. So yeah. So not for frogging, watches all my thing. So thumbs up helps, comments help, thumbs down helps. It all helps. And that's kind of what we have going on. So thank you so much for watching our tutorials. I do appreciate your feedback today. You've actually given me a little bit of ideas here. There's a lot more that you've said that I've kind of just watched in the corner of my eye that you were commenting to. So we'll have to think about that. So yeah, so that's what we have. What is that? The Hexagon Afghan behind you. Is there a pattern without the center so that it could be worn as a poncho? If you're talking about that, that's a wave wrap, and that's the temperature blanket that we did. But I haven't left any holes for a poncho. It's a neat idea though, but I haven't done that. Thank you so much for everybody, and we hope that you have a good day. And if you're interested, we still have 3 more spots. By the way, I'll leave this with you. We still have 3 more spots for our mystery adventure in the U.S. Next May, April, end of April, beginning of May. It's a mystery vacation. If you're interested in that, you can go to our website. On the top menu, it says Travel with the Boys, and it's complete mystery in the dark. You can contact our agent. She'll give you the rundown, and it is you will not know the airport that you're arriving to until the week before you go. Your plane tickets will be arranged, and then you'll arrive at the hotel with a group of us, and then we're all going to go by a coach and go to the location. So you may be interested in that. There's only 3 spots left if you're interested in that. So there you go. So there you go. And we hope that you have a great afternoon, and we hope to see you again real soon. Bye-bye.